with your grammar knowledge, error location. Many of these questions, except one, are rather easy to handle. I will read the first one. Shall I? Children whose movements have been underlined, whose movements have been. Which tense is this? Present perfect, active voice or passive voice? Passive voice. Because we have the verb restricted. Whose movements have been restricted? Then you ask the question how? They have been restricted how? What is the part of speech you are supposed to get? Adverb. But here what is the word severe? Severe pain. Severe is what? Adjective. Here we cannot use the adjective, we have to use the adverb. So what is the right word here? Severe is not correct, it has to be children whose movements have been severely restricted. What is the right word? Severely restricted. An easy one, and you don't have to go beyond this part. Do remember, when you take the exam as well, one reading you have to stop here, and you know for sure it is based on word form. Please write next to the question, what is this about? Word form. Right word, wrong form. They have used the adjective, but we have to use the adverb. Simple. Next, question number 2. This is a bit difficult. It was discussed by the defense ministers that it has to be, underline has to be, an overall solution to the entire issue which bring the situation. You have to understand, first you underline the word issue, then you underline which bring the situation to the fore. So the fore means to the front. Here, within those guidelines, we are discussing how to actually achieve it on the ground. Nothing wrong with the second sentence as such, but you may get disturbed the second part and the third part. Here, first when I saw this, I thought it has to be, it had to be, or there has to be, or there had to be. Possible options. It was discussed by the defense ministers. Why in the past? Please underline it was discussed. That goes into past, right? Please respond. So it was discussed by the defense ministers that it has to be, whatever the solution, it has to be an overall solution to the entire issue. But after reading the sentence, I could make out there is an error in the third part. What is that error? Here, entire issue, which, after that, this clause is all about, please underline the entire, all those words, one unit. It's a clause related to one word. Which word is that? Issue. Now there are two possibilities here. If you take the context that goes into the past, then you have to say, generally we say, which brought this issue to the fore, which brought this situation to the fore. One possibility, it has to be in the past. If you take present, issue is third person singular, which bring or brings. So we don't know the exact context. So please make a note, it has to be either which brings the situation to the fore or which brought this situation to the fore. But definitely what has been given is not right. Bring is not the right word. I hope you guys got it. So where is the error based on that? Third part, there is an error. This is a little challenging because you have to, two things may disturb. One, it has to be an overall solution. But generally, because the first clause is in past, it was discussed by the defense ministers that it had to be an overall solution. There is a possibility for that. But how many errors are you supposed to look for? Only one error. Based on that, you go with the third one, because we are not sure about the context. Question number 3. This is rather an easy one. Federation of Indian Export Organizations president said, whenever you come across words like said, asked, told, warned, ordered, requested, what are you supposed to think of? Indirect speech. And the reporting verb is in past, the tense is changed to a corresponding past tense. Said the trend reflected. Perhaps the actual statement, the trend reflects present changes to past. Not anything wrong with this. The trend reflected the rising competitive of domestic exports. As I said, all the 5 questions, the 4 questions based on word forms. Here the word competitive is not right. Here competitive spirit, it is an adjective form. But here we have to use the noun form. What is the noun form of this word? Please write the word competitiveness. The rising competitiveness of domestic exporters. So what is the right word here? Competitiveness. Previous question is about what? Question number 2. What is the answer you wrote? Question number 2. So it is about subject verb agreement. Make a note. And question number 3 is about competitiveness. Which part of speech is it? Noun. Competitive adjective. In this context, we cannot use an adjective, we have to use a noun. So it is also about word form, one thing. And what is the exact first question is about adverb, severely. And here it is about competitiveness, noun. I hope you guys are getting it. Question number 4. The states have been asked, underline one unit. See, whenever you come across a lengthy sentence, you should know how to read the sentence based on subject, verb, object, basic pattern. Besides, whatever the phrases, whatever the clauses that go with the subject or with the object. So what is the subject here? The states have been asked. The states, subject, have been asked. Which tense is that? You should answer present perfect active voice or passive voice. Passive voice. That you have to make a note. Any error here? No error. They have been asked to do what? Usually we ask someone to do something. So 2 is also the right preposition. The states have been asked to follow a staggered approach. To do what? Follow a staggered approach. Any problem? No. Why should they follow a staggered approach? To avoid crowding. Any problem? Where? At the session sites. Any problem? No. And even plan breakup sessions. Any problem? No. If a staggered approach is not effective, they have to plan breakup sessions. How many of you have chosen the 5th option, no error? Raise your hands. Why not? Which part you thought there was an error? What is wrong with the 4th part? If a staggered approach is not effective. Okay. So nothing wrong with this sentence, is perfect. Grammatically, contextually, a perfect, flawless sentence. Is that clear? Next one. This is also an easy one based on word form. The pathogens are commonly implicated as causative agents. If you are really good at English, you will not go beyond the second part. There is an error in the second part. What is it? The pathogens are commonly implicated or implicated. Generally the pattern, students are usually appreciated. Teachers are usually something. Students are usually evaluated. Here the verb should be in which form? Past participle form. What is the verb here? Implicate someone. So what is the past participle? It's a regular verb, implicated. So what is this question about? Word form, implicated. Here it could be an adjective. Please come. The pathogens are commonly implicated as causative agents. But here it is in passive voice. Which tense is it? Present tense passive voice. Please make a note. The pathogens are commonly implicated as causative agents. Passive voice, present tense. What is active voice? They implicate the pathogens as causative agents. What is that? What is it in active voice? They implicate the pathogens as causative agents. Change it to passive voice. The pathogens are commonly implicated as causative agents by them. By, that is not important. Have you got it? So please make a note here. Implicated is a verb, past participle form, and question is based on present tense passive voice. Please make a note. Present tense passive voice, not adjective. Present tense passive voice. I will give another example. They appreciate the students. Which tense is this? You have to respond. Present tense, active voice or passive voice? Active voice. They appreciate the students. Change it to passive voice. The students are appreciated by them. They implicate the culprits. Change it to passive voice. The culprits are implicated by them. Same pattern here. So what is this question about? Grammar knowledge, passive voice, present tense. All the 5 questions except one are easy to answer based on your grammar knowledge, and 3 questions go with word forms. One is about adverb, another about noun, and another is about what? verb, subject verb agreement, and one is about present tense passive voice. All easy to answer. Now we'll go to pillars only, but a new pattern. What is this pattern? You see a sentence with a blank, and you see how many options here. 3 words are given and combination of these 3 words. First you have to understand the context. Contextual awareness, you can select the right words. Demonstrate means what? Show. Demonstrate your an understanding of your children's problems. Underline children's problems and put a star. That is a clue to understand the context. Whenever children have problems, as a parent, what are you supposed to do? Imagine what are the parents supposed to do? Understand the problems of the children, one thing, or at least try to understand the problems of children. And they have to, once they understand, they have to sympathize, or they have to show some sort of concern, and they have to think from the child's point of view. For that, what is the word? Morning I gave the word empathy. So context is about understanding the child, understanding the problems. Can we use the word apathy? Mark it wrong. Apathy means what? No interest in somebody's problems or sufferings. Someone is suffering, you are least bothered. Apathy. Not a positive word. We need a positive word. So mark it wrong. Empathy, the right word. Empathy means what? Thinking from the other person's point of view, or thinking from putting yourself in the other person's situation. That is known as empathy. Understanding. And concern, obviously, demonstrate your concern and understanding of your children's problems. So what is the answer based on that? 2 and 3, which option is that? Easy or difficult? Easy. Question number 7. Economists have proved notoriously, underline the word notorious. I have already given many a time 3 words. First word famous, known to many people, but a positive reason, then we use the word popular. A negative reason, we use the word notorious. That you have to remember. So context is positive or negative? Negative word, negative context at predicting the upturns and downturns within the country. So we need a negative word based on the negative context. Triumphant means what? Successful. A positive word. Can you use a positive word? No. You have to respond. Competent means skilled. Can you use a positive word? No. So what is it? The third option. Economists have proved notoriously inept. Write the meaning of the word inept. Not able to do something well. Inefficient. We can also write the word inefficient. Not able to do something well. Inept behavior, inept prediction in this context. In my opinion, this is also an easy one. I hope you guys agree. Your smile, I can get the answer. We'll go to the next one. This is quite challenging. This is a bit difficult. According to Aristotle, underline the word poetry. Poetry about some people who may be either better or worse or the same as they are in the actual life. Difficult to understand the context. Here, poetry imitates who may be either better or worse or the same as they are in the actual life. There is a possibility you can use the word imitate. You may ask why. Usually poetry, a person has to write, then we come across poetry, am I right? And a person as a poet, whatever he writes, which becomes a poetry, usually reflects his lifestyle, his efficiency, his problems, his pleasures. That is reflected. In a way, it imitates or copies the true life of the person who writes the poetry. Vibrate. What does it mean? It has 2 different meanings. One goes with physics, vibration. You all know vibration. But here, vibrate means what? To reflect. Write the meaning. Vibrates means to reflect. Reflect the person's lifestyle. Vibrates. Vibrant culture means lively culture. Write the combination vibrant city. Vibrant city means what? Lively city. It reflects a lot of liveliness. So you can consider this one as well. Elevate means what? To take to a higher place. You all know the word elevator. Elevators. But does it go with this context? Because poetry can be positive, can be negative. We cannot use a completely positive word like elevates. First you eliminate this one. You cannot use the word elevates. Now you have to decide between imitates, vibrates. Do you have an option like 1 and 2? Which option is that? 1 and 2, fourth option. But vibrates It means what? Reflects. In my opinion, imitates is not the right word. It does not imitate. It reflects. Based on that, I think there's a problem with the key. What does the key say? The key says, I think the first one imitates. Am I right? Please check the key. No, I am not convinced. In my opinion, answer should be the second option. Vibrates, who may be either better or worse, or the same as they are in actual life. Poetry does not imitate. A person imitates. Why will poetry imitate someone? You understand? Poetry can reflect the present situation or the past situation. It does not imitate. Contextual awareness, that's what I feel. This is rather easy. Shall I go to the next one? The act is natural and the attention of the audience through surprise. So it seems a positive or negative? Positive. Can you use the word deviate? Deviation is a negative word. The act is natural and attracts the attention of the audience through surprise. Usually when we talk about listeners or audience or spectators, catch the attention, attract the attention, right? So right word or wrong word? Right word. The act is natural and deliberates the attention. No, deliberate has two different meanings. Please write the word. Here answer is only the second option. What is the second option here? Attracts. But first you write the word deliberation. Deliberations. Write the noun form. Deliberation means the discussions, carefully thought discussions. Write the word discussion. You spend a lot of time, you think carefully. Discussions, deliberation. This meaning many people may not know. Generally we use this as an adverb. Write that form. Deliberately. Have you heard of this? He has done it deliberately. Means what? Openly. Deliberate act. Open act. Without any hesitation. I'm sure you guys know this meaning. But the deliberations, noun form, meaning many students don't. What is the answer here? Second option is the answer. Next one. Interpretation and judgment have often been placed in as the two ends of or functions of criticism. What is the clue for you? Two ends. When we have two ends, one is this side, the other one is that side. Opposite. Yes or no? Based on that, can you use the word isolation? That doesn't go with the context. Felicitation, out of context. So they are placed in opposition. Generally, it's a standard phrase. They are placed in opposition, means they are poles apart. There is one expression for that. Means like poles apart. Idiomatic expression. They are poles apart means they are in the opposite poles. North pole, south pole. Placed in opposition. One this side, the other side. This is an important idiom. Easy or difficult, this one? Easy. Okay, we'll go to the next set of questions. What do they deal with? Para jumble, an easy one, but 4 and 5 you may get stuck. One is easy. After that, based on first to second, easy. Last one is easy. In between two may trouble. We'll take the elimination approach to get the first one. Can the word second be the first sentence? Eliminate. The IAs hold this one. In order to achieve this, demonstrative pronoun cannot be the first one. Eliminate. The recruits, definite article, can it be the first one? No. And but can it be the first one? Besides, can it be the first one? So what is the first one here? Quite obvious, B is the first one. Easy to get. The IAs and other services should start attracting at a much younger age some of the best products of a finest education institution. Perfect. Then usually when they say this, to achieve this, what are they supposed to do? They talk about that. Am I right? Then the writer wanted to present in a systematic way. For that he has chosen words like first, second. So what is the next one based on that? Where do you find the word first? In order to achieve this, obviously, first a national campaign should be mounted to motivate the brightest to take the plunge, means to enter the competition. And what is the next one after first? Second. Second, the age of entry and the attempts allowed to appear for the preferred service should be substantially reduced, to a great extent reduced. Third, the examination process should be compressed. And what is the next one? Now you have a problem. How many have you got? B, C, A. Last one you can decide, but 4 and 5 rather difficult. The recruit should spend their most productive years serving the nation, not in the arduous examination process. It can be the next one. Hold that one. And what is left here? Besides, merit should be valued as much as diligence. Underline the word arduous. Means what? That is a clue for you. Please write the meaning. Arduous means putting in a lot of effort. Putting in a lot of effort. It is nothing but being diligent, working very hard. Putting in a lot of effort or being diligent. Are you guys listening? Based on that, if you take D as the next one, besides, in addition, merit should be valued as much as diligence. Arduous means what? Diligence. So the sentence is continuity or no continuity. Please respond. I'm explaining in a very systematic way. First, diligence, that is one thing. Besides diligence, they have to focus on merit. So based on that, what is the next one? DF. And last one is quite obvious. What is the last one? In order to, where is this last one? What are you left with? But none of these can be achieved without a decisive political push from the highest level. E is the last one. We cannot achieve all these without political will is important. I would like to know how many of you have got this order. B, C, A, D, F, E. Raise your hands. Not too many, but in my opinion, not that difficult. I don't know how you guys are trying out para-jumbles. First you take elimination approach and get the first sentence. Then you understand what it is about. What does it talk about? It talks about now the present situation. If you take civil services, I think the age limit is 21 to 30 or more than that. I'm not quite sure. And reservations, then it goes up to 35. No, your prime time is being wasted. That is the point here. So they have to bring in a few changes so that we get the youngsters to the civil services. Then what happens? They can contribute in a better way. Imagine someone enters last, I think 2019 or 20, IAS topper from Telangana state, Anudeep, I think. So he got the selection at the age of 30 in the 5th attempt. Do you guys know that? 30 means the prime time is over. Imagine the same guy got the selection. 21 is the eligible age. Perhaps not possible. There are some candidates who have got 22. How many years prime time he can contribute for the growth of the nation? 8 long years. And that is the time you have the passion, you have the desire, you're ambitious, lot of ideas, creative ideas to do something for the country. By the time you reach 30, almost the passion is gone and you're exhausted. But still you can contribute. There's a lot of difference between a youngster getting the service at the age of 22, 23 and a person at the age of 30 getting the selection. Makes hell a lot of difference. So it's all about that. Anyhow, it's an easy one, mind you guys. We'll go to the next set. What are they about? What are those questions about? Columns. No, you guys are good at columns. But there is a problem with the key columns. He prided himself as a born-again Muslim who would free while Pakistan is still struggling to reduce power shortage. No, there is no connectivity. The proportion of the outgo used for food, other things being equal, while Pakistan is still struggling, can you use that? No. It is the best measure of the material standard of living of a population. These two seem to be related. Yes or no? So make a note. What is the first pair you can consider? B and E. India is trying to make a transition to renewable energy to provide for 40% of total consumption, while Pakistan is still struggling to reduce power shortage, negatively impacting its economy. Perfect? Yes or no? So please respond. CD, PECD, do you have that option? That means what is the answer? Please respect the fifth option. No second thoughts about that. Today, surprisingly, columns, the key is not right. We'll go to the next. Who has chosen BECD or who has chosen the fifth option? Raise your hands. That means one student respects the fifth option, others don't respect the fifth option. We'll go to the next one. Across the country, even if mainly in the north and now in Karnataka too, there are gangs of volunteers. Underline gangs of volunteers. Gangs of volunteers are people, right, to whom the work of harassment, intimidation means frightening, and local killing has been outsourced. Seems right or wrong? So what is the first pair over here? A and E. Central banks raise interest rates to anchor high inflationary expectations when temporary price shocks. And what do you see here? Experience effect of male dominated, not relevant, on account of drought or disruption in global supply chains, entail the risk of getting transmitted into actual inflation. So what does the sentence talk about? Inflationary, inflation. They seem one pair or not? Please respond. So based on that, what is the answer? B and F. Central banks raise interest rates to anchor. Anchor means stop. You all know the word anchor. What does it go with? Ships. When a ship has to be stopped, what do? They lower the anchor. Then the ship stops. High inflationary expectations. When does it happen? When temporary price shocks. Why do these price shocks come into force? On account of drought or disruption in global supply chains, entail the risk of getting transmitted into actual inflation. Perfect, contextually, grammatically. And what is the third one? The largely contact-intensive segment of trade, hospitality, transport, communication. Can you use the experience effect of male-dominated financial sector employees? Not at all relevant. So what is the answer here? A, E, B, F. Which option is that? P is right, I think so. The French political landscape, historically dominated by the center-right conservatives, center-left socialists, has undergone a major transformation. One reading you should be able to make out. So what is the pair here? AF. The demolition of law, which is the best way to describe the bulldozer violence, comes with the fig leaf of legitimacy of the clearing of illegally occupied land. Contextual awareness, what does it talk about? Now in UP it is going on, bulldozer government. Have you heard of that? Adityanath, very tough guy. So illegal occupations is one word, right? The word encroachment. Have you heard of this? Usually it goes with footpaths, encroachment, but sometimes other places also. Public property, government property, people occupy, that is known as encroachment. So what is he trying to do? He is using bulldozers and getting the buildings demolished. And how are they doing that? With a bit of legality. What is the legality? Because they occupied government property, it is illegal. They have every right to demolish. It can be justified. So do they form a pair or not? AF, you got one pair. And what is the second one? BD is also a pair. No second thoughts about that. And I would like to tell you guys, I don't know how many of you understand my explanation, this approach. I can also take grammar approach based on grammar knowledge, this. That is, in my opinion, sheer waste of time. It is a piecemeal approach. You understand what I say? If at all you have grammar related connections, or you can decide what is right, what is wrong, you're fine, happy. But is there any guarantee every time you get based on grammar? What is important here, when you read two parts, column 1 one part, column 2 one of the three parts, you have to understand what exactly the first part talks. Based on that, what is the right part in column B? And when you identify, at least here, what are the words you can? Demolition of law. And how do you demolish a building? Contextual awareness. What do you use? A bulldozer. And here it talks about a fig leaf of legitimacy of the clearing of illegally occupied land. So demolition goes with buildings. And here bulldozer goes with buildings. Buildings are constructed on what? Illegal land. That's what the context talks about. This is the approach you have to take. Let us go to the third one. Economic theories explain this divergence by stating that women are more pessimistic than men, attributing the pessimism, underline the word pessimistic, attributing, and there's a comma also, Attributing the pessimism to the difference in the innate characteristics. Innate means inbuilt. Already we have got this word inbuilt, inborn, imbibed. These are the words. Characteristics and lack of education. Does it seem right or wrong? Why no response? It is right. It's a theory. Economic theories explain this divergence. From somewhere they have taken. So this divergence, what is the divergence? We don't know. You have to see contextually right or wrong. On what basis? Stating that women are more pessimistic than men. And they attribute, you have got the word attribute, means what to give. Tomorrow you get success, you go on to the stage, what do you say? I attribute my success to my parents. Means what? I give my success because of my parents, obviously. So attributing the pessimism, pessimistic pessimism, related or not related, to what? To the difference in the innate characteristics. Men are different, women are different. There's a saying in English, what is it? I don't know how many of you know. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Do you know that? Never heard of this. They're different, that means they're different. And lack of education. Perhaps they've taken from some past context. In the past, women were not educated, lack of education. Today it is not the scenario, different scenario. In my opinion, a perfect pair. So you have to look for all the three. Do you have an option, all the three? So how many of you have chosen the fifth option? Raise your hands. No one. I'm not surprised. You people lack one thing. What is it? Is the mic on? Contextual awareness. What do you lack? Contextual awareness. Why do you lack? Because you don't read newspapers regularly. I have been telling you guys repeatedly for the last 3 or 4 months. I don't mind reiterating. If you read the newspapers, you're ready for the exam. You can answer many questions with a broad smile. Otherwise, it becomes a sort of struggle every time. Shall we go to the next set of questions? What are these about? Phrase replacement. Easy ones. The university research department stumbled something new and made a big discovery. Underline the verb made. Made a big discovery because of it. That means here the verb should be in present or past. Common sense. So strike off. Strike off. Stumbling upon. Is it grammatically correct? No. Strike off. Stumbled, knew something upon. Is it correct? Right, correct order of words? No. So what is the answer? The university research department stumbled upon something new and made a big discovery because of it. Perfect. Easy or difficult? Easy. Damn easy in my opinion. The villagers complained about the noise from their daily. After that you have the words in bold. Bells rings practices. Does it make any sense? Bell rings practice from. Bell rings practice? No. Mark it wrong. Bell ringing practice. You can consider these words. How many options with bell ringing practice? Bells ringing practice wrong. Because we cannot use adjective in the plural form. So you have to decide between the second and the third. Here you have the preposition since. Here you have from. So what is the right word here? Here they shouldn't have given this in bold. Or they have given, no problem. Here from the church or since the church. So what is the answer? Easy one. 22. The flash on your camera may not be able to light the entire subject at a distance of less than 40 centimeters. You all know light is a noun, right? Yes. But here it has been used as a verb or as a noun. If you know that, you will choose the correct option. The flash on your camera may not be able to light. That means it may not throw the light to cover whatever you want to shoot. So please underline the word light and write verb. May not be able to light the entire subject. It could be an animal, it could be a plant, it could be a landscape, anything. At distances of less than 40 centimeters, maybe macro photography. May not be able to light, may not be able to write, may not be able to understand, may not be able to listen, may not be able to speak. Pattern is right or wrong? I've used a few examples, same pattern. So using the same pattern may not be able to light. Any problem? So what is the answer? Who has chosen the fifth option? Raise your hands. Ah, that's good, but not too many. An easy one. Anyhow, we'll go to the passage. If you guys remember, the other day I gave about 50 topics based on sleeps. And one of the topics under socio-cultural problems, what is it? Environment. Environment, we talk about sustainability. What is this passage about? Deforestation, timber industry, and logging industry. Major reasons for deforestation. Why deforestation? Because of population increase. Population increase, what happens? More stress on the environmental resources and exploitation. And if the exploitation is not sustainable, then obviously it results in a problem. An easy and interesting passage, you should be able to answer all the questions. And some of the questions are based on sheer common sense. First one, what is the major concern of the passage? We'll take the options and decide right or wrong. The major concern is about the increase in population. Everyone knows that population is increasing. That is a major cause of concern. Excessive burden on the natural resources, logically related to each other. More people, obviously. There's a saying in English, too good is too bad. So too many people, it becomes a problem. Sustainable development is required in developing countries. Today, if you read the papers, you come across the word sustainable. Almost every day, we talk about sustainable goals, we talk about sustainability, we talk about sustainable development. Means what? Using the resources wisely, or using the resources thinking of the future generations. Please write the meaning of the word sustainable. Using the resources wisely. Using the resources wisely, thinking of the future generations. It is like this. A typical example, if there is a tree, you cut the branches of the tree. After some time, you'll get the branches back. Yes or no? Are you guys listening? You cut the tree, what will happen? Cutting the branches is sustainable, but cutting the tree is not sustainable. Once the tree is gone, it is gone. So sustainable development is required in developing countries. It is also perfect, not only in developing countries, in developed countries also. But unfortunately, this environment related problem started with the West, and they are trying to blame the East. They started, in fact, plastic. At the time of the Second World War, Germans started this production of plastic for a particular purpose to use in the war. Today, plastic has become a menace. In so many ways, it threats the life on the planet Earth. And if you take excess use, I told in the morning, Western culture, use and throw. That is also not good for the environment, yes or no. And now they are trying to vehicles, where the automobile industry in the US. In fact, there is a saying in English, it's a fact actually. The automobile capital of the world is in the US. That place is called Detroit. Detroit is the automobile capital of the world. There are three major companies, General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford. And these are the people, obviously, they started polluting in so many ways. But now they blame the third world countries, unfortunately. So what is the answer here? All of the above. Have you chosen that? Fine. What do you think will happen to the environment if we continue our actions? Now we continue means what? Exploiting the planet Earth. What will be the result? The environment will eventually rebuild itself. If it can, to some extent it can rebuild. But at a larger scale it cannot do that. It will collapse. So mark it wrong. We will exhaust the natural resources without any alternatives. Obviously you keep on cutting down. Hold the second one. Sustainable development will take place in the future. No. Though we talk so much about that, it is not happening. I'll give an example. In this city, sometime back they announced no plastic, no carry bags. Do you know that? Many shops for 1 or 2 weeks they stopped giving plastic carry bags. They started giving cloth carry bags, thin cloth. Now again they started giving the plastic carry bags. Problem here, not only with us, in Western countries also, implementation is a problem. Stating something is easy, implementing is very difficult. And what is the fourth option? More political and diplomatic solutions arise? No. The environment has long sustained us and can only continue to do so if we do not destroy it. But here it is not that we cannot destroy it. We have to depend on the environment. We have to depend in such a way that environment is safe and we are safe. So based on that, what is the answer? Second option is the answer. We keep on doing the same thing, what will happen? We will exhaust the natural resources without any alternative. That's what's happening right now. What are the deeper issues that we need to understand as mentioned in the passage? Many of these questions are based on sheer common sense. You don't have to read the passage. What is the first one? We need to understand that doctors, why should doctors come here? Is it relevant here? Concentrate on blind people, why do they come into picture? Some of these options are ridiculous. Everyone in the world needs to understand environment, degradation and poverty. They are related. Environment, degradation and poverty, they go hand in hand. Hold the third option. Socio-economic problems created by political causes? No. Because of the dependence on the resources population. So what is the answer here? Third option is the answer. This is also based on sheer common sense. Without reading the passage, you can answer. According to the passage, pick out the correct reason that a planet can sustain. If at all there is a tough question, this is a tough question. Difficult to understand. Please underline, pick out the correct reason that a planet can sustain. You want to say planet can sustain, and you have to choose the correct reason. The planet can provide resources for all the years to come. Then why should we be worried? We don't have to worry then. That all resources could end to a particular level of population for a time that is finite. True or not true? It can sustain for a limited time. Beyond that, it cannot sustain. Hold the second option. A planet can sustain all the activities of humans? No. All the options are correct? No. Climate change is the single most serious threat facing our planet today. One of the problems. Climate change is one of the problems. So we have other problems like deforestation, loss of habitat. So many problems are there. So what is the answer here? Sustain. Planet can sustain how long? Till it reaches the optimum. Particular population, particular time, it can sustain. Beyond that, it will collapse. This is a bit challenging. Not every human being has a similar impact on environment. What might be the reason for it? Today, if you look at the environment, we have a lot of people, a lot of industries, a lot of governments damaging the environment. One hand. On the other hand, we have people, NGOs, who are trying to contribute something towards the betterment of the environment. Based on that, because there are humans who are contributing towards sustainable development. Right or wrong? Hold this one. As it is unethical to call a human being responsible for the damage of environment? No. Human beings also have more other impacts than on nature. Does not make any sense. Because the wealthy developed nations complain about the environment pollution is due to the third world countries. See, what does the question talk about? Not every human being has a smaller impact, a similar impact on the environment. Are we talking about individuals or are we talking about the countries? Are you guys listening? Are we talking about countries or individuals? Then can you use that option? No. So what is the next one? Answer is you don't have to read all these. It's sheer waste of time. Because there are humans who are contributing towards sustainable development, we cannot say every human being makes the same impact. Some people make a negative impact, some people make a positive impact. But those who make a negative impact, 99%. Those who make a positive impact, only 1%. What is the main idea of the passage? The passage urges humanity to look over environment and poverty. Yes or no? The importance of sustainable development. Yes or no? Conservation of natural resources and look for alternative technological solutions. Yes. So what is the answer? For that you don't have to read the passage. Pick out the synonym of the word fragile. Fragile means delicate. Very good. Who said that? Oh, good. Perfect word. Durable means last for a long time. You buy footwear, 1 month gone, then it is not durable. You get for 1 or 2 years, Durable. So it goes with products. Fragile means delicate. And there's another word you have to recollect and write. Please write the word brittle. Brittle also means delicate, but subtle difference in the meaning. Write that meaning. Easily broken. And write one combination. Eggshells are brittle, easy to break. Brittle, easily broken. But fragile, delicate. I hope you got that subtle difference. Shall I? And what are the other words over here? Able, firm, tough. Simple words. Fill the blank that is most appropriate to the given passage. So where is the blank? Also adding to the is that resource usage is not necessarily fixed. So it talks about something is not fixed. Then simple or complex it becomes complex. Based on that, it is not fixed means it is not uniform. Credible means believable, not relevant here. Need, no. Simplicity, no. What is the right word here? Adds to the complexity. Adds to the problems. Adds to the woes. These are the words we use. Today I have done a little fast. It's only 2:45. An easy paper. Where is the coordinator? Sai, please come. This paper, in my opinion, you have to get 20 plus. How many of you have got 20 plus? Please raise your hands. 1, 2. Really? 20 plus.